So, in this video, we are going to study the chapter number 1 of Class 8 NCRT book, Science, which is Crop Production and Management. So, before starting the chapter, I have a kind request that please subscribe my channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon and also like the video. Let's start. Crop Production and Management. Crop. So, what's a crop? So, plants of the same kind that are grown and cultivated as a source of food in a large cultivable place is called a crop. So, we can also say it as when plants of the same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a crop. So, for example, crop of wheat means that all the plants grown in a field are that of wheat. Okay. Types of crops. So there are two major types of crops. So the first one is the rabi and the second one is the kharif crop. So there are the crops which are grown in the winter season from October to March are called rabi crops. So the winter season is usually from October to March, and so the rabi crops are grown in winter season. And the examples of rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseed. So now let's see the kharif crops. So the crops which are sown in the rainy season are called kharif crops. So usually this rainy season occurs in India from June to September. So the examples of the examples of kharif crops are paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, cotton, and more on. Okay. Preparation of soil. So preparation of soil is the first step in which cultivating crop for food production. Okay. So I forgot to tell you one thing that there are some basic factors of crop production. So cultivation of crops involves several activities undertaken by farmers over a period of time. So these activities or tasks are referred to as agricultural practices, which are listed below. So the first one is the preparation of soil, which you are going to see now. The preparation of soil is the first step in cultivating crop for food production. So the soil is prepared for sowing the seeds of the crop. So this is carried out using various processes and tools. The process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling or ploughing and is done using a plough. So why we should loosen or turn the soil? Because the loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworms and microbes present in the soil. These organisms are friends of the farmers since they further turn the loosened soil and add humus to it. Okay. So that soil contains certain minerals such as water, air, and some living organisms. In addition, dead plants and animals get decomposed by soil organisms. In this way, various nutrients in the dead organisms are released back into the soil. So these nutrients are again absorbed by plants. So since only a few centimeters of the top layer of the soil supports plant growth, so turning and loosening of the soil brings the nutrient rich soil to the top so that the plant can use these nutrients easily. Thus, turning and loosening of the soil is very important for cultivation of crop. Now, so a plough is a device that is used by farmers for different purposes, such as adding of fertilizers, tilling, and loosening of the soil. It's also used for adding fertilizers to the soil, removing weeds, scrapping of soil, and etc. The plowshare is a triangular iron strip. A plough shaft is the main part of the plough, which is made using a log of wood. The other end of the shaft has a handle. The other end is attached to a beam, which is placed on a bull's neck. A wooden traditional plough can be operated by a pair of an ox and a man. So nowadays, these wooden ploughs are being replaced by the iron ploughs. So here you can see how a plough looks. So it has a triangular iron strip in front of it as shown here, and then it also has a beam which is placed on the bull or ox's neck. Okay, so this is a traditional wooden plow, but nowadays these wooden plows are being replaced by the iron plows. Hoe. So hoe is a tool that is used to dig up soil to remove weeds and also loosen up the soil before planting a sapling. So there is a strong, bold, and bent plate of the iron is fixed to one of its ends and works like a blade. So it is pulled actually by animals. Okay, cultivate. Cultivate. A cultivator is attached to a tractor and helps in loosening soil. Cultivators are used instead of plows since they are faster. Okay, because why they are faster? Because they saves time and labor, and they're attached with a tractor. Okay, sowing. Now comes the second step of the basic practices of crop production, which is sowing. So sowing is an important part of crop production actually. And before sowing, good quality and clean healthy seeds of a good variety are selected. Farmers prefer to use seeds which give high yield. And the seeds, sowing, the process of planting the seeds in the soil. The seeds are sowed in the soil that is used by a cultivator or a plow. Okay, so how we can check the quality of seeds, whether they are good or whether they are damaged or dead. Quality of seed is an important factor that determines the crop yield. Selection of good seeds is done by putting the seeds in water. The dead and damaged seeds become hollow and float on water, whereas the good seeds sink. Okay, so the damaged seeds are hollow and are thus lighter than the good seeds. So therefore they float on water. So this is a good method for separating good healthy seeds from the damaged ones. So before sowing, one of the important tasks is to know about the tools used for sowing seeds. So now we are going to discuss that. Traditional tools first. Before the advent of modern agricultural machinery, traditional tools were used by farmers. These include plows, shovels, scythes, and pickaxes. The traditional tool used to sow seeds was like a funnel. Once seeds were put into this funnel, they would go 2 to 3 tubes having sharp ends. These ends would prise into the soil and place the seeds there. Okay, so before the modern machinery, agricultural machinery, modern came. Uh, Before that, these traditional tools were used. So here you can see as the farmers are putting the seeds through it, and they're going 2 to 3 centimeters deep into the soil. Okay, through a funnel. Seed drill. Seed drills are used for sowing with the help of tractors. It ensures that seeds are sown uniformly at a particular depth and are covered by soil after sowing. So seed drill, why we use seed drill nowadays? Because it's easy. Sowing seeds with the seed drill are very easy. But whereas with the traditional tool, it's not that much easy. So, what's a nursery? So, a nursery is a place where young plants and trees are grown for planting elsewhere. Nursery acts as a respiratory of saplings. Okay, so this nursery is a place where the plants are grown up to saplings, and after that, to make them as a crop, they are sent to farms. Manure or fertilizers. Manures and fertilizers are the substances that are added to the soil to increase their fertility. While manures are made by decomposition of organic substances, fertilizer is made of inorganic chemicals. So we must prefer manures because they give a lot of humus to soil, but whereas the fertilizers does not give any humus to soil. Okay, so here are some differences between manure and fertilizers. So fertilizer is an inorganic salt, but manure is prepared from organic matter such as human waste, cow dung, and farm waste. Fertilizers are manufactured in factories, but whereas manures can be prepared in farms. Fertilizers are added in comparatively small quantities, but manures needed to be added in a large quantity as nutrient content is less. Fertilizers do not provide any humus to the soil, but many provide a lot of humus to the soil. Disadvantages of using fertilizers. So excessive use of fertilizers can cause soil pollution. It also changes the pH of the soil in certain rare cases. Okay, so we should not use these fertilizers so much because it causes soil pollution. Leaving the land fallow. When the land is left fallow for a certain period of time, the land replenishes its nutrient by itself. This land can be used for agriculture again. So once, if I sow, if I cultivate crop one now, and then after harvesting it, I must leave the land fallow so that it could replenish the nutrients by itself. I no need to add anything to it. It can replenish nutrients by itself. So after it replenishes, this land can be again used for agriculture. Crop rotation. So crop rotation ensures that the same crop will not grow continuously and lead to the erosion of the soil fertility. By growing crops that require different sets of nutrients, we can ensure the soil fertility is restored. And another method of this is another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients. Okay, weeds. Weeds are undesirable plants that may grow naturally along with the crop. Weeds compete with the crops by absorbing all the water, nutrients, space, and light. Tilling is a process done before sowing a crop that helps in uprooting and killing of weeds. Okay, so these are some unwanted plants like unwanted guests, which naturally grow while growing crops. So they compete with the crops for water, nutrient, space, and light. Okay, so uh, it's it's very needed that we should remove these weeds, or else the crop may not be good. Removal of weeds. Manual removal includes physical removal of weeds by uprooting them from the soil or chopping them off to ground level periodically. Chemicals used to kill the weeds are known as weedicides. They usually don't damage the crop. So there are two methods. One is manual removal, and the second is spraying weedicide. So we must prefer manual removal because it's harmless. But whereas these chemicals now, they may affect the person spraying the weedicide. Okay, harvesting. Harvesting is the process of cutting the crop after its mature. Harvesting is done by two methods. First is the manual method, where a sickle is used, as you can see here. And the second is the mechanical method, where a huge machine called harvester is used, as you can see in this picture. Storage. So storage of grain is an important step in agriculture. After harvesting steps, the ready grains are stored in granaries or silos. The grains have to be stored in a dry place that does not have a rodent or fungal infection. Fumigation of storage places is carried out to make it free from microbes. Granaries are the places where the freshly obtained food grains are stored. Okay, so then the last step is storage. So farmers store grains in jute bags or metallic bins. However, large scale storage of grains is done in silos and granaries usually. And dried neem leaves are also used for storing food grains at home. Okay, winnowing. What's winnowing? Winnowing is the process of separation of grain seeds from the chaff using the help of a wind. Due to the wind, the lighter chaff flies away and the heavier grains fall down. Okay, so you know what is chaff? Chaff is nothing but husk, husk, husk present in the grains. Okay, husk present in the grains. So husk is lighter. So if If winnowing is done, the husk will fly off and the grains will come back. Threshing. Threshing is a process of loosening the grains from the chaff. While it can be done manually, these days a machine is used that separates all the grain seeds. Okay, so that machine is called combine. Okay, it's in fact a harvester and as well as a thresher. Now comes the last topic, animal husbandry. So animal husbandry is the management and care of farm animals for milk, egg or meat. So these animals give us something which is milk, egg, meat or anything which we can use. So thank you, that's the end of my PPT. I hope you all liked it. Subscribe my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon and like the video. Thank you.